Hello class. Alright, in this video we're going to build our model relationships, and we can go ahead and start with our category model. We can first set our protected fillable. So here, protected fillable, write our name, parent ID, slug, app dependency, can have children. Alright, that's it for our fillable. Next, let's define our protected cast, app dependency. Let's make this a boolean value, and also one more is can have children, also a boolean. Now what this protected class mean basically is this make sure it's app dependency right here, app dependency protected class. It makes it easy to save true and false boolean values to our database, and it also makes it easy for us to call or to query this kind of data which is true or false. Right, next, let's now define our relationship. For our relationship, our first one will be parent. We are going to return this parent belongs to self class with a foreign ID of parent ID. Here, where the parent ID is the null value. Right, next, another relationship is our children. Here, return. This has many self class with a foreign ID of parent ID, where parent ID is not equals to null. And here the last one, posts. So a category is going to have many posts, and the post is going to belong to a category. So here return, this has many post model class. Here category, the foreign key will be a category on our post table. Alright, so let me just explain what this means. Basically is that since we are linking the parent and child on the same table, we're going to differentiate between parent and child by the parent means parent ID field in the database will be null, and for the children it means the parent ID field in the database won't be null. Now this is conditional, but you get to understand this better when we start dealing with our category component. And this post basically means each category has many posts with a foreign ID, category ID on the post table. Alright, next let's now build our post relationship. Okay, let's define our protected fillable. First we're going to have our user ID, category ID, foreign key, cover, subtitle, slug, content. Alright, that's it for our fillable. Next, let's now define our relationship. Our first one will be our category. Now, this part, I want you guys to listen carefully here, because I actually had to come back and remake this whole video because of this part. So I realized this typo when I finished the course. So here, you are gonna type category. I want you guys to type this here as category, the correct spelling. Otherwise, for me, I typed something like this. Yes. So this is what I typed before. I didn't notice this until the end of the course. So now this is not really a problem. Of course, it's just a naming relationship. You can change this anyway. So it's not a syntax error, it's just a typo. But I want you guys to write category, this correct spelling, because the resources in the files that I'm gonna post for you to, if you don't want to type all this, it's going to reference to this category. Now in the video you might see me typing, like you might see me referencing to this category, but don't you worry, because this is just, I'm asking you to correct it now so that your code will be right, and then this referencing, it will be like no problem, and it won't give a problem. And I just wanted to point this out. Now because of this, I had to come back and remake this whole video to explain this part. So here it will be this, but for you guys, I want you to type the correct spelling, which is category. Yes. So I'll leave it like that, and then I'll continue with adding more information there. So here in this relationship, we can do return. This belongs to the category class. Here category ID. Yes. Now next, our next relationship is our user. Here return, this belongs to user class or user model. Our next relationship is our tag, our last one. In here return, this belongs to many. This is a many-to-many relationship, which gives us, which we're gonna link to our pivot table. Here type tag class. The table will be our post tag class. Now this table is the one which will be linking our tag to our post as a pivot table. A pivot table is just a table linking two tables together with foreign IDs. The foreign pivot key will be our post ID. So here what it means, in this post tag table, we're going to have a tag ID and a post ID, so that We can assign many tags to many posts in our web application. Right, our next relationship, this is done. Let's now go to our post tag. So we can fill in our pivot table. Now for our pivot table, we have to first specify our pivot table. For example, here protected, we have to specify the table. Otherwise it's going to give us an error. Here write post tag table. Here, let me stress this. Don't leave a space here. I had an error which I didn't solve for days because I left a space here. So don't leave any space. Write post tag with singular. And then let's continue filling in the details now. Here, protected fillable. This will be at the semicolon there. Post ID. We're only going to have two columns in here, and tag. Alright, that is it for this model. Let's go to our last model, which is our tag. Here first, as usual, protected fillable. Here let's make it name, just an inline, slug. Here app dependency, a semicolon there for our. Let's also add our protected class because we're using this as true or false, and it's a boolean column. Here app dependency is equals to boolean value. Now for our relationship, let's create. Yes, our post is going to link to our pivot table as we did before. So here return this belongs to many posts through which table, the post tag table, the foreign pivot key tag ID. You see, something that we did in here in the tag, we also did in the post here. Same thing, because we're linking two tables together, make it easy for us to query. Yeah, so this marks the end of our this video. And remember, as I mentioned here, I came back to remake this video because of this. Here, write the correct spelling, but in the video you might see something like this when I'm referencing this relationship. And don't worry, it's not a syntax error, no, it's just a typo. But I took care of it, so the code that you'll be copying from the resources, everything is already fixed. So see you in the next video.